the president of Trans Options. I want to welcome you all here this morning for the kickoff of the Street Smart Morristown Pedestrian Education Campaign. This is a partnership with the town of Morristown, Mayor Doherty, the governing body, the police department, and the school system, and the business and social community throughout the whole town. It is funded by the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority, which I always call the most important agency nobody ever heard of. But so that you'll know more about that, at this point I want to introduce Mary K. Murphy, the Executive Director of the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority.
Good morning. As you've heard, my name is Mary K. Murphy, and I'm the Executive Director of the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority, NJTPA for short. We are the Metropolitan Planning Organization for Northern and Central New Jersey. We provide federal funding for a myriad of transportation projects, and nothing is more important to us than safety. And looking at pedestrian safety is the most critical thing we can think of right now. So thank you, Trans Options, for taking this on. And I want to thank you all for being here this morning. In particular, I'd like to thank Realtor Dee Filippo. She's a strong advocate as the county's representative on the NJTPA board, and she also serves on our executive committee. And I want to thank Mayor Doherty and, of course, the town council and the police department for all their support that they are giving this important program. This is not a program that any one entity can do on its own. So, of course, thanks to Trans Options and the Transportation Management Associations for this area. And we have they're working closely with the other TMAs in our region. But John Chironi and his staff have done a great job with Street Smart in several towns. And I'm sure you will see the same thing happening right here in Morristown. The success of this program, as I said, really depends on a very strong local commitment to the effort. And we couldn't ask for better partners than here in Morristown. I'd like to also thank, because as John said, where the funding comes from is an important thing, but some of our other partners whose assistance and, of course, funding we could not do without. That includes the Federal Highway Administration, the US DOT, the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety, as well as New Jersey Transit. So for those who haven't heard just what Street Smart NJ is, well, first of all, it's an incredibly important public education initiative that involves saving lives and preventing injuries. Pretty important work. It's also a response to an unfortunate fact that the Federal Highway Administration, FHWA, the funder that I mentioned, but they've also designated New Jersey as a pedestrian-focused state due to our very high rate of pedestrian vehicle crashes. And the numbers are daunting. Just last year, there were 166 pedestrians and 17 cyclists killed involved in pedestrians involving motor vehicle crashes. Now, for the 5-year period between 2010 and 2014, there were nearly 750 pedestrians killed on New Jersey roads, and more than 17,000 were injured. Now, that equates to 1 death every 2.5 days and 11 injuries every single day. These numbers are daunting, and that is the goal of the Street Smart campaign, to drive these numbers down. This campaign is to educate drivers and pedestrians about making safety their #1 priority, whether they're walking or driving. This education effort is combined with targeted enforcement to drive the message home. The campaign directs pedestrians and motorists to check vital signs, and we kind of played with that a little bit as a health message as well as a street sign message, because your health as well as the enforcement piece are what's at stake. So for motorists, the 2 vital signs that we stress are obey posted speed limits and stop. That's stop for pedestrians in crosswalks. And the vital sign for pedestrians is to use the crosswalk. Please use the crosswalk. And wait for that walk signal. Those lights are timed. There's people making turns. The idea is to wait for that little flashing person, not to jump ahead of it. And all these campaign messages will be on signs, posters, banners, and advertising on our social media during this campaign. And this year we've added a 5th message, and it's heads up, bones down. This message focuses on distracted driving and distracted walking, which we've seen to be an increasingly huge, bigger problem throughout the area. When motorists text or look down at their phone, a motorist is less likely to see a pedestrian crossing the road, or to see that a vehicle has stopped in front of them. Now, we have statistics at NJTPA, we love our numbers. So we found one that said 5 seconds, I think it's actually 4.9, is the average time a person's eyes are off the road while they're texting. You just glance down at your phone. Well, if you're traveling 55 miles an hour, that 5 seconds results in the same as if you were traveling the length of an entire football field blindfolded. You wouldn't do that. So why do people text and drive? Street Smart is a proven success. In towns where we previously conducted this campaign, we've seen drivers and pedestrians alike making smarter decisions after the education and enforcement efforts. Behaviors such as drivers not stopping for pedestrians in the crosswalk and pedestrians crossing illegally, not using those crosswalks, dropped by more than 53% on average after the campaign. And when you think about it, it comes down to this. Every time a pedestrian chooses to do the right thing and wait for that signal, and every time a driver stops for a crossing pedestrian, our entire region becomes a little bit safer. Those individual decisions can add up to making a really huge difference. So that, in a nutshell, is what Street Smart is really all about. By educating motorists and pedestrians alike about their shared responsibilities on the road and reminding everyone that police are enforcing the laws in our communities and we can save lives and prevent injuries. Communities want more information. We have websites through njtpa.org or through Be Street Smart NJ. And of course, I urge all of you to be aware of your own behavior while driving and walking. Lead by example. So once again, thank you, Morristown, the first town in Morris County to bring the pedestrian campaign to their town. Yay, Morristown. Pedestrians Options, of course, for embracing Street Smart, and thank you all for embracing pedestrian safety. And back to John. Thank you.